you want to pay attention to this stuff because this isn't a Ozempic, but this is big stuff in the science world. Bloomberg Intelligence senior pharmaceutical analyst Sam Fazeli, perfect person to talk to about this. Sam, talk me through the science and talk me through what the FDA is looking at today.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I just want to first say that I think the last time we talked about anything to do with FDA and regulatory conversations coming up was to do with vaccines, right? Yep. And this is not a normal topic of conversation for us. So why are we talking about it? Because it's a revolutionary therapy that they're bringing on. It's so-called one and done. It's not quite right, but it is. You don't go for a third one and a fourth one and a fifth one every 3 weeks. Yep. You take cells from a patient, engineer them in the lab, give it back to them, and you essentially in the lab train them to find the cancer. And when they get it back, it goes and kills their cancers. So, and you have just one shot. It's magic, right? Now, it doesn't mean that those patients are all cured forever, but they can, and we're seeing the data that's going to be presented today and argued over today. How much benefit are you getting from them? Is this an increase in survival by 20%, 30%? Are you having 10 more patients cured versus not having used this therapy? And remember, they don't go back for more shots, right? So that's where the revolution comes. But of course, you can do this training of these cells for any disease. Right? You could do it for other types of cancers. Blood cancers are easier. Myeloma is a blood cancer. Are relatively easier to address because the cancer is in your blood. The immune cells are in your blood. They see them. Solid tumors, lung, prostate, etc., are a little bit different because they have this solidity around them that stops the cells getting in. That would be the next revolution, and then we have another one to talk about.
Okay, so this is immunotherapy you're describing, and this is where all the high hopes are then and expectation. But what should we be looking out for today? You've described a lot of the advances here, Sam. I imagine that the FDA conversation is also around the risks. What are you watching out for today?
That's absolutely right, Hannah. The efficacy is pretty easy to understand, or at least you see it. You've seen the data. The question is how worried should we be about the safety? If you're a cancer patient and you have no other options left, that safety may be something that you accept, that extra toxicity, right? Because if it gives you another year or 2 years of life. If you're a patient who's early on in their disease, where you're not likely to die for 10 years or 5 years, what is the risk that you're prepared to take for X amount of benefit? Then you take it outside of that and you take it to what's so-called autoimmune diseases, because it's the same. Multiple sclerosis, lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, Crohn's disease. These are often driven by also cells that have gone awry. So if you can kill those cells, you reset the disease. And there's data that shows you literally reset the disease. But in those patients, you want absolute safety, because you're not going to expose somebody who's just got RA and but suffering from in daily life. This is where this conversation today is important. It's got ramifications for a lot of things.
Well, just let us draw you out a little bit more on the ramifications. You touched on some of the other diseases and the other challenges that this science could be used for. What are the timeframes for some of those treatments coming through? I mean, how close are we to having the therapies needed to tackle some of those diseases?
Yeah, for blood cancer, we're there.
Right.
This is already approved for people in fourth line, really late stage disease. The question today is, can it be used, as you said, second line? For autoimmune disease, there were some papers, data that was published from a German group a year ago or so, but noise had been gathering, so lots of people are trialing it. When will we see something on the market? 5 years. If everything works out.
Yes. Okay. Something to watch for today then. Thank you very much, Sam. Sam Fazeli joining us there, Bloomberg Intelligence senior pharmaceutical analyst. Yeah, it does tell you something that the last time Sam was a sort of daily friend of the show, we were deep into COVID.
We're going to have him back more often.
We're going to have him back more often.
This is cool science.
To talk about some of the opportunities here. So thank you very much to Sam for joining us.